Good morning, welcome to the Cosy Life. You might be wondering why I'm not in an airport, on a bus, on a boat, whatever. Why am I just sitting in my dressing room? It is because the Cosy Life has been grounded. I have not been very well this year. I've got gallstones, nothing major. It just means I can't really go places because I keep getting very ill and ending up in hospital. And I don't want this channel to die, so I thought I would pivot, as they say in the business. I thought I would pivot for now and try and do some daily life vlogs because I really enjoy watching daily life vlogs myself. Just like the travel channel, I want this vlog to be about slow, intentional, cozy living. I really have grown to despise the influencer lifestyle rhetoric that is all over the internet. But I just feel like our attention, our desires, our passions are being targeted at the wrong things. We should be trying to live our best cozy lives. And I think I'm really good at that. So I want to take you along with me. So it is Friday today and it's about 10, 11 o'clock. I don't know. Coming up to 11 o'clock, I would say. I'm filming on my phone, so I can't see what the time is. I don't have a watch on. I've just gotten ready. I have filmed a video for my other channel, which is a makeup panning channel, not a makeup overconsumption channel. So if that is also something that interests you, I will link it in the places that you link things these days. Up, down, I don't know. So I'm hoping to have a little bit of a bookish day now. A book is meant to be delivered today by Waterstones. I did order 3 books because I got a voucher for my birthday last year that I still hadn't used. So I was just like, just get some books. So I've ordered 3 books for them and they're all being delivered separately, which is kind of weird. One is coming today, so we'll have a look at that when it comes. And then we are also heading out for the day. So we're going to go to King's Heath this morning. I live in Birmingham. You can probably tell from the accent. And King's Heath is just like another suburb of Birmingham. It's about a 20-minute drive from where I live. And it's got lots of like cute shops, cafes, you know, the classic gentrified suburb vibe. And then we're also going to unhaul some books because the bookshelf is full. It's full. So we're going to unhaul some books, buy some books, read some books, do all the book things. In the age of 20-second attention spans, I really think it's a good muscle to use to read a book and spend some quiet time reading words on a page, imagining. I just think it's the ultimate protest to the 20-second grind that we're all in at the minute. Let's go and read some books today. My Waterstones package has arrived, so let's open this together. I didn't want them to send all 3 separately, but they've made that decision for themselves. So we've got Luster by Raven Leilani, and this is a Samantha Irby recommendation. She is literally where I get all of my best book recommendations. She very, very rarely misses with a good book. I think the protagonist is black and she is working in a dead-end job, so I'm hoping that's some anti-capitalist commentary there because I love a bit of that. And she is in a relationship with a man in an open marriage with an adopted black child, and they ask her to move in with them to look after the child, and hilarity ensues according to the reviews. Taut, sharp, funny, brutal and brilliant, says Zadie Smith. Hopefully be able to dig into that soon, but I am reading 2 physical books at the minute, which I don't really like to do. I like my books one at a time. Unlike Zadie's partner, there's an Oxfam in King's Heath where we palm off all of our unwanted books for. Not that I like to think of books as being unwanted, but our bookshelves are very full and there's very little space for anything that isn't at least an okay book. So I've got another little stack here that I just want to talk you through why I'm unhauling them. So we've got Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I mean, I have nothing against it. I've read bits of it, but I've never finished it. And I just think it's such an easily accessible book. Like, it's free on Libby. There's like unlimited lending on it on Libby. So if I ever did want to read or listen to it, then I can do that like that. Classic literature just doesn't scratch my particular itch. I just feel like contemporary stories are more interesting than courting and, you know, living in darkness. Then we have Cackle by Rachel Harrison. And I have seen a couple of people give this book 5-star reviews, and I don't know how anyone with eyes could give this book a 5-star review. It's written seemingly by a 13-year-old. I really don't like to shade other people's books because obviously that people's whole soul goes into writing their book, but I don't know why this was published. The plot was weak, the characters were bad, the writing was terrible. I just don't get it. Everyone in the book literally comes across as erratic and insane because 1 minute they're laughing, 1 minute they're crying, 1 minute they're chasing each other, trying to kill each other, and then suddenly they're best friends again. It's absolutely bizarre. The main character is a dullard. She's a dullard and a bitch, and she's a drunk driver. I don't think we were meant to notice that she went on a date, drank loads of whiskey, and then drove home. It wasn't like a plot point that she was a drunk driver. I just think it was bad continuity. No idea how we were meant to empathise with her. She was just insipid and unlikable in every type of way. I'm glad her boyfriend broke up with her. There was a comment about her being the funniest person someone's ever met, and she's not funny. She's dreadful. I absolutely hated it, but I just wanted to get through it because I wanted to know where the 5 stars that people were giving it came from. I guess people really liked that it was a story about female friendship. The other woman in the book holds her hostage for the most of the book, and then she gets Stockholm Syndrome. And then the other book I'm unhauling is Rachel Harrison's other book that I got. I'm not putting myself through any more of her writing. No. And then I'm also unhauling The Boarding School Girl by Nadezhda Shrovskinskaya. This is a Russian novel from 1842, and as I just said, I'm not vibing with the classical stuff anymore. I really liked this when I first read it at university. I did a Russian literature module. This had a female protagonist, which I think is why it spoke to me, and it was about her learning about nihilism. But I'm not going to reread this. I just feel like I enjoy other genres more, and what more is there to say about nihilism than what it is? Hi, I'm home again now. It's still Friday. I just came home and had a shower, took off my makeup, and now I'm here cozy on the sofa. From the Heath Bookshop, I just picked up this one book because my TBR pile, I know everybody who reads books has this problem where their TBR pile is taller than them. So I just picked up this one book that caught my eye last time I was in there. This is called Sad Janet by Lucy Britch. Meet Janet. Janet is sad, not about her life, but about the world. I mean, have you seen it? It's not the synopsis, it's just like the tagline. It's about a lady who works at a dog shelter in the middle of nowhere and doesn't speak to anyone. Sounds like my dream, except swap the dogs for rabbits. And she gets offered a chance to stop being sad. I don't know what happens after that, so I'm very, very intrigued by this. I'm going to just pop it on my TBR shelf because I'm currently reading 3 books at the minute, so I really can't be adding any more into the rotation. Speaking of the books that I'm reading, I just thought I would talk you through those a little bit as well. So, would I be a person in the world if I wasn't reading Wuthering Heights right now? This is my horrifically destroyed edition from when I was 16. Oh no, I've just lost my page. When I was 16 and studying at college. This is how she looks. She's not in a good way, so any book purists that like to keep their books perfect, look away, look away. I wish I was that kind of person, but I'm not. They had an absolutely stunning, you know when they do fancy books of like classics, they had an absolutely stunning edition of Wuthering Heights in the Heath Bookshop. And it was just so funny looking at the text on pages that aren't yellowed and falling apart. I feel like this adds to the atmosphere of the novel though. Like, this book is Wuthering Heights. It's decaying and falling apart and dreadful. I'm on chapter 20 at the minute. Let me just put my bookmark back in. Obviously I'm reading this because of the film that came out last month, and it's obviously had a lot of mixed reviews. the Wuthering Heights purists don't like that there was a huge deviation from the actual plot of the novel, or that only the first part of the story was told. And they didn't like that it was like a camp, tongue-in-cheek farce. This is a camp tongue-in-cheek farce. I'm sorry, it is. I know that it's horrible people doing horrible things to each other, and that is exactly what the film is, but it's tongue-in-cheek and funny. It is totally okay to adapt this book like that. If somebody made a film that told this story, it would be a pretty boring film, I think, if I'm being honest. There's also a lot of hate for Emerald Fennell in general going around, which I don't understand. I loved Promising Young Woman. Saltburn was one of my favourite things I've ever seen of all time. And Wuthering Heights, again, was stunning. I don't get why people hate films made with the female gaze in mind. People are just so indoctrinated to enjoying films with the male gaze when somebody makes a female gaze film. Everybody loses their minds, is how it feels to me. I know she's a bit of a billionaire Nepo baby, and I know that there are criticisms that Heathcliff was whitewashed in the adaptation of Wuthering Heights. However, we can't all be perfect, and she's doing some amazing things, I think. Yeah, maybe she just wanted to see Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi romp in some period influence, contemporary, stunning outfits. So what? All the haters don't know what they're talking about, sorry. Probably about halfway through Wuthering Heights. And I mean, in general, I'm not a classic literature girly. I don't think the story is actually very good. It's just everybody has the same name and everybody's being horrible to each other all the time. But the writing is just obviously so beautifully. There's just some parts of the prose and it's just like, wow, that is poetry, that's not prose. And I do think it is worth reading for that. The way that she puts words together is just so beautiful. And it's really that aspect of the book that I'm enjoying more than the actual story. The actual story is a bit dead ting. Like, give me Margot Robbie in a latex dress romping around with Jacob Elordi's fingers in her mouth any day of the week. You know what I mean? And then I'm also working on Carol, which is also actually, as you can see, has a film adaptation. And I watched the film last year. And the film's beautifully shot, and I could tell that there was a really amazing story in there. And as I was watching it, I was like, I bet this is an adaptation of a book, because it felt like moments had more weight than they actually did. And I think if you'd read the book then watched the film, you'd be able to piece it together a bit more. I really did like the idea of the story, and then when I was in Canada in a used bookshop, I saw this on a shelf, and I just thought I'd pick it up. I don't normally like... Does anybody like the TV show or the film book cover of books? Do people actually like that? I don't know why they exist. Anyway, I saw it on the shelf and I got it, even though it wasn't the most beautiful copy. And I'm just a couple of chapters into this, actually. I just wanted a little break from Wuthering Heights, so I picked this up. It is a lesbian love story set in the 50s, so obviously it's very controversial. But it is also, so it starts out with our main character, Therese, working in a department store, you know, dead-end job, on the grind, and lots of anti-capitalist rhetoric and critique in those first couple of chapters, which I really enjoy. I love stuff like that. I wasn't expecting that layer. That layer isn't conveyed as well or at all in the film. I feel like the film is a lot more about the love story and Therese's confusion. I think like her desire to become a photographer and not thinking it's possible, which I suppose is a little bit about the capitalistic grind and how, you know, working class artists are less likely to be successful than Nepo babies like Emerald Fennell. Whereas in this, I think the anti-capitalist rhetoric is a little bit more oblique. And then the audiobook that I'm reading at the minute, I usually read a physical book and an audiobook alongside each other. So the audiobook that I'm reading at the minute is Happy Place by Emily Henry, and I really struggle with contemporary romance novels because I do just find the writing is a little bit, for lack of a better phrase, like below my reading age, if that makes sense. Like I just want something that's a little bit more dense, a little bit more complex, a little bit more layered, and a lot of contemporary romance doesn't really offer that. That's not to say that it's a bad thing. I'm not throwing shade on it. I just think it's not my niche, and that's okay. On the other hand, I do really like Emily Henry's writing. It is a little bit formulaic. Characters fall in love just by trauma dumping at each other, which seems to be the pattern because I did read Book Lovers earlier in the year. But it's a fairly fluffy but well told story and genuinely funny. Like, Emily Henry is genuinely funny. I've laughed out loud at both Book Lovers and Happy Place, and that just doesn't happen. I'm a difficult laugh. I always say, like, I'm a difficult laugh when it comes to TV or film or books, but I'm a cheap laugh in real life. See, I'm making myself laugh now. For something to make me laugh, it does have to genuinely be quite funny. Both of the books by her that I've read have been or are or whatever, so I don't actually mind a little bit of Emily Henry's version of contemporary romance, and I'm sure there are a lot of other writers out there that are at a similar level and quality as her. I'm just yet to find them, and it is a little bit frustrating sifting through all of the other stuff just to get there, especially when, you know, how many times can a romance story be told? And so I'm going to sit down now and just spend a little bit of time on Wuthering Heights. I'm currently on page 176. There you go, 176. It's 15:38 and we're going to do an hour of Wuthering Heights and see where we are. It is now 17:05 and we are now on page 217 of Wuthering Heights. We're on chapter 25. So we have read in just over an hour 40 pages, which isn't too bad, and that's like a page, 2 minutes per page sort of timing, isn't it? But it is quite small writing, and it is quite like lengthy wordy writing as well, isn't it? So I'm not too fussed on that. I'm just like well into the second half of Wuthering Heights now, and have you seen that meme where it's like all the people that you started work with have left and now you're on season 2 with all of these weird new characters? I feel like I'm on season 2 of Wuthering Heights. All of the original cast have, I mean, is it a spoiler alert? Does everyone know the story of Wuthering Heights? Most of the original cast have died, and now we're hearing the story of their kids. Again, it's enjoyable for its sort of evocative, poetic language, and I'm really enjoying how she describes the seasons and how she describes the moors. And there's this bit where Linton and Catherine get into an argument about their most idyllic day, and one wants a really hot, still, long summer day, and the other wants a lively, exciting summer day with lots of birds calling and wind blowing through the grass and etc. And it's just really lovely writing and really evocative and really paints a picture. It's hard to relate to the characters, I think, because of the time, because of their class, because of the way it's written. I do feel like the characters come across as over emotive and hysterical, and I don't know if that was just how people were then, or if that's Bronte's writing or whatever. And I know that I would heavily critique a contemporary book that was written with such sort of fickle, ever-changing characters. I think that is their character, if that makes sense, because when you look at Heathcliff or Edgar Linton, their sort of feelings are unchanging and their grudge is deep and eternal, whereas I feel like Catherine and younger Linton are very, very emotional. Hareton also very, very emotional. I don't know if, again, that is just tied up with their age. I don't know if Bronte is just writing younger characters as slightly insane, but everybody in Wuthering Heights is slightly insane. There's all kinds of madness going on. I am enjoying it, but not necessarily for the story. The story is just some nasty, silly, fickle, overindulgent rich people running around between these two houses being spiteful to each other. I feel like that's a reality TV show now, but the writing is beautiful and I will continue to enjoy it. It's around 5 o'clock now and I just had those 2 little baked goods as a little brunch, so I think I'm going to need an early dinner, and I've got some leftover fried rice that I made for myself, just some mushroom fried rice. So I think I'm just gonna have that with some corn bits in the oven, and I'll probably just watch a bit of YouTube and have a break from the reading. But I will pick back up with you later when I pick up a book, whether it be Wuthering Heights again, or maybe I will delve into Carol a bit more. But I'm hesitant to go too far into Carol until I've finished Wuthering Heights now, and I think I'm on the home stretch with Wuthering Heights, so I think I'll either finish that either today or tomorrow, and then I can dig in to Carol properly. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry that the lighting is tragic. It's 9:45 and I didn't do any more reading. I got lured into an editing hole and ended up editing for most of the evening after dinner. But that is fine. But that means that is the end of our bookish vlog today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and please let me know down below or by giving this video a like if you like this kind of content. And please do consider subscribing if this is the kind of content that you like. I know that I really enjoy it, so I hope that you do too. And until next time, take care. Thank you. Bye.